Okay, guys, Mr. McCullough is going to be lighting and sound effects. Miss Smith is going to read a book to you. Miss Grace will be acting it out. And I'm the videographer. Okay, here we go.
The Legend of Old Befana by Tommy DePaulo. Every year on the Feast of the Three Kings, January the 6th, Old Befana visits all the children of Italy and leaves them candies, cookies, and gifts. It is said that she is searching for the Christ child. There are many stories about Old Befana and how she began her search. This is one of them. Now remember, this is a legend, so this is a story that was passed down from generation to generation, and this is just his version of the story. In a small house on the outskirts of a small village in Italy lived Old Befana. She lived all alone, and she wasn't very friendly. If any people dared to knock at her door, she never asked them in. "I have no time for visiting," Old Befana would say. The children didn't like her either. "Cranky old lady," they'd say, "and the way she is always sweeping." That was true. Every day, every morning and afternoon, Old Befana would sweep with her broom. She swept her little house, she swept her front step, and she even swept her walk all the way down to the road. Sometimes a delicious smell of things baking would drift from Old Befana's house. "Whom does she bake for?" her neighbors would ask. And some nights, they thought they heard her singing lullabies. Crazy Old Befana, everybody called her. One evening, after Old Befana had eaten her dinner and swept her kitchen clean, she began to get ready for bed. She locked the door and shuttered the windows. Then she climbed into her bed, blew out the lamp, and fell fast asleep. In the middle of the night, Old Befana woke up. The room was bright. "How can that be?" she asked. "My lamp is out, my windows are shuttered, but my house is filled with light." She got out of bed and crossed the cold floor. When she opened the shutter, a sudden burst of light poured into the room. In the eastern sky, she saw a brilliant star, which seemed to grow before her eyes. Said Old Befana, closing the shutter as tightly as she could. "How am I ever going to get my sleep when the dark has turned to day?" All night she tossed and turned. She didn't sleep a wink. At dawn, Old Befana got up and dressed. She ate her breakfast, then took her broom, as she always did. Every day, every morning and afternoon, she swept her little house, she swept the front step, and she even swept the walk all the way down to the road. When she neared the road, Old Befana stopped and listened. She heard bells tinkling. "It's probably just the wind," she said. "Sweep, sweep, sweep." Again, she heard the bells. "It's probably just the birds singing. Sweep, sweep, sweep." Once more, she heard the sound. "My old ears play tricks," she said. Sweep, sweep, sweep. Suddenly, over the hill came the most glorious procession Old Befana had ever seen. Camels, horses, elephants, and people. A splendid sight. Halfway back rode 3 royal-looking men dressed in jeweled robes, wearing crowns upon their heads. The procession stopped. The 3 kings got down and came up to a frowning Old Befana. "Please," said one of the kings in a royal voice, "is this the way to Bethlehem?" "How can I say?" said Old Befana. "I never heard of it." And she began to sweep. "We are searching for the child," said the second king. "Do you know of him?" "There are many children," said old Befana, sweeping still. "But this one is a king," said the third. "I know nothing of royal matters," she said. "Our books have told us," said the king, "that when a bright new star appears, the child king will be born in Bethlehem." "The star I have seen," said old Befana. "It kept me awake all night. Now, if you will excuse me, I have work to do." The procession started up again. "Old woman," called a boy who was leading a camel by, "you should come with us. This child, this baby king, has come to change the world. He comes for us. He comes for the poor. We are bringing him gifts." Old Befana paused. She watched the procession wind down the road. "A child king," she muttered. "Bethlehem? Sweep, sweep, sweep. Coming to change the world? Coming for the poor? Well, heaven knows old Befana is poor. Sweep, sweep. Gifts? Only a child?" Old Befana went back into her house. "Perhaps I should go see him. But what do I have to take him?" She put down her broom. She got out some butter and sugar and flour. She blew on the fire and added some wood. Then she began to sing. She baked all day. She didn't even sweep. It was almost dark when she finished. Then she filled a basket with all the cakes and cookies and candies she had made. "I'll take a few coals in a little pot to keep the cookies warm," she said. She put on a shawl and opened the door.